Hi guys. I am now 3 days into my self-made residency here in Pennsylvania. And I thought I would jump on here and go ahead and just give you a little update. I don't want to, take a whole lot of time, but I thought this would be fun. I can tell you about what I'm doing, what I'm learning, and also maybe give you a sneak peek of some of the things that I've been working on. So far, I've been up in the woods painting for the last 2 mornings. Today was raining, so I stayed here in the studio and did some work here in the little temporary studio that's set up in my parents' basement. So one of the things I noticed about this time around is I'm seeing a lot of the same subject matter and different scenes. Like I'm recognizing things. I'm like, oh, I remember when I painted that stump last or 2 years ago for my other residency, or I remember this scene and I remember this stream. So it's actually really neat to come back and see all of that again. But the reason that I am focusing on different scenes and different subject matter is a combination of intuition. Like I love this particular scene. I think it draws me in. And I'm also utilizing a filter of connection with what I'm currently thinking about as an artist and a mom and a person and all that things. So that is really kind of shifting what I am deciding to paint. I'm using that filter of like, is this scene something that is connecting with my current story? And so I think that'll be really interesting at the end of the residency to take a look at the things that I ended up deciding to focus on painting wise and see how it's different. Because in my first residency, I was mainly focused on like, what are different scenes that make a good composition, or I just feel are beautiful and interesting, and instead of necessarily like drawing my inspiration from the connection that I have with it. In the afternoons, when I come back from painting, I've been working on printmaking. And when I first got started with trying to figure out what I wanted to focus on for printmaking, I didn't really know. But after a first day of scouting out locations in the woods, an idea started to develop where I could focus on elements on the forest floor. Because as I was walking around, I noticed that there's just so many different patterns and shapes and things that just make up the whole forest floor. Just because today, since I was not necessarily painting up in the woods, I took a crack at doing my color studies. And I'll be honest with you, I was not looking forward to it. Like setting up the charts for this particular endeavor was laborious and took so much time. But now that I'm actually getting the colors on there, it's actually really fun. I had no idea. I was really surprised by that. So this is the chart that I'm working on right now. And so I'm doing value strings of each of the colors. And then along with that, I'm writing down all of the information for the mixing that needs to happen to create these vibrant color strings. And so I'll have this available for me when I get home, just to be able to know how to mix those colors again. So I think that'll be really, really awesome. I think it's going to be a worthwhile endeavor. So what I'm noticing that's working really well is having a flexible schedule. This was something I put together pretty intentionally, knowing that I was going to have to balance family and also work time, and also being able to shift things for weather. Like today, since it rained all day, I was able to, be in the studio instead. One of the other things that's been working really well is having varied things that I'm doing throughout the day. So splitting my day up into large work chunks. So painting on site in the morning, coming home, taking a little break, and then moving into printmaking in the afternoon. For someone who has a bit of a short attention span, this has worked really well to keep me focused in various areas for the amount of time that is comfortable for me, and keeps me engaged in a high level of creativity. Whereas sometimes if I'm working on one process all day long, I start to get really sloppy. and just, frustrated and struggling about, I would say probably about 6 hours in, I'm just over it. So switching back and forth like that is keeping things working really well. Some of the things that have been challenging is getting up in the morning. So in order to be able to beat the heat and also the bugs, I have been getting up at like 5:30 so that I can get to the woods around like 7:30ish. And so right now my body is totally still on mountain time. And so it feels like 3:30. So it has been taking a lot of coffee to get me out of bed in the morning. And I think it will get better as I do it more, but that's definitely been a challenge. Another thing that has been a little bit of a challenge and something I'm trying to figure out as I go is making sure that my lunch break doesn't turn into a whole afternoon break. There's a tendency to let it kind of spill into my work hours in the afternoon. And so just being cognizant of that and know that I might need to make some adjustments as I go. One of the other things that's been kind of challenging for me is battling the productivity monster. That little voice that says, "Oh, you're not really getting much done." And for sure, I am not producing the same amount of paintings as I would. Some of that's because I've split my time equally between printmaking and painting. Another part of that is, my intentions are completely different. I'm focusing on process as opposed to the production of an end product. So just reminding myself of that constantly has been important. And one of the things that's been helpful in that is I do a journal entry at the start of the day and a journal entry at the end of the day. And so I bookend my day talking about, what I learned and what I'm hoping to learn the next day. And that's keeping me focused on that intention. So before I go, I wanted to show you a couple different things that I'm working on so you can see. So these are some of my little my little color studies that I have worked on the last 2 days. So this one and then these little color studies, they only take about 10 minutes to do, sometimes less. And they're perfect for figuring out color scheme for a painting when I'm out in the woods, as well as composition and orientation. So one of the pieces that I worked on yesterday, this is a stump with a whole bunch of moss growing on it, and then the Asian watergrass coming up, and there's some raspberry plants coming that direction. So that one is just about done. I got a little bit more work to do on it. But when I'm up there, I never worry about trying to finish the painting. I try to get it, I'd say probably 60 to 70% complete, before I bring it back into the studio. So typically I've been doing 1 to 2 of those larger 6x9 paintings, each time I go to the woods. And so that's what I'm working on there. For printmaking stuff, I've been working, this is a design that I did first. It's, to me, it's a symbol, and it's symbolic. These concentric circles are symbolic of spirit. And so I have a feeling this I'll be using quite a bit. I've got some ideas planned for how to use it as an anchor for a whole bunch of work. So like I was saying, for the printmaking, this is one of my little designs for the forest floor. This is Asian watergrass, and it has a really distinct leaf shape and pattern. And so I made that, tested it, and I'm excited to use that in some printing. I was actually creating just some test prints this way, so you can see, what that looks like. And my first, I did my first 2-color print here. So I did the spirit symbol and then the Asian watergrass on top of it. It's the first time I've ever done a 2-color print, and it was super exciting to do that. So I feel like I'm learning a lot, and I'm having a great time. That is for sure. This is filling my bucket tremendously. So that is your update. I hope you enjoyed just kind of hanging out for a couple minutes. I have a new blog post that'll be coming out probably early next week. If you want to get those updates, you can follow the link in the description to get those updates. And if you want to see when the next video is going to come out to talk about what I'm doing and updates on this particular residency, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel right here and you'll get notified about it. Or you can join my mailing list. I usually am sharing those vlog articles and blog posts with my email subscribers as well. So have a great day and we'll talk to you soon.